Hello, thanks for coming by the Trains Lover channel. I wasn't sure how to proceed with the future videos on my layout build, so I figured we can just fast track to the month of December of 2017. After all, you're watching the history of this build anyway and things that I've gone through. So around the middle of the month, I've received a box of track, N scale, Atlas code 80, lots of turnouts and lots of flex track. The idea was to use this to build a staging yard on two decks actually, and you can see now these are all remote turnouts that were supposed to be controlled from either the dispatcher or from your throttle, whichever way you were operating at that time. And so I bought other track. I mean, re-railers and joiners galore and whatnot. Everything was there. Here you can see some of the items. I mean, 18 of left hand, 17 of right hand. I mean, there was a lot of track there. Everything was being prepared for a big layout. I mean, the space is 22 by 13 feet. And so in N scale, it's a fairly large empire. So towards end of the month, towards the holidays, is December 20th, I got all the metal stud work and I started mounting some of that on the wall. The height of the floor is 31 inches for this lower deck, or that was supposed to be staging, a ginormous staging. The mistake I made was to make it 31, obviously, because I should have gone a bit lower, but I at the time did not think about everything and I didn't really know everything. And so construction with the metal studs goes really fast. I mean, cutting them is very easy because they're soft steel. So now this is December 24th, 2017. We're just doing a pan around the room. As I said, the room is 22 by 12 or 13 feet in dimensions, and you can see the two columns that are supporting the main floor above. And the layout is supposed to be around the walls and a peninsula in the middle on three decks, technically, a staging and then two scenic levels. And now we can see the view from the outside of the room. Technically, this was where the staging was supposed to be, but things have changed, and you'll see in the future video what happened. The staging was supposed to be here on two decks, and then you would just basically leave the staging from one end and go around the wall and peninsula, and then at the far corner there would have been a helix, and then we would climb the helix up. And now we're moving on to 25th of December, and the other outer wall has been put up as well. As I said, this goes really fast. Studs are just crimped together with a special tool, which is not that cheap, about $60, but you have flexibility with it, and it just, as I said, goes really fast. If you're building walls, the mistake I made was that I didn't know at the time that these walls should be reinforced with drywall, because just on their own they're not as strong, and trying to screw something into these studs will just not work. At the end, I ended up putting plywood inside these studs that was custom cut and made, and that was just a big pain that didn't really pay out because I tore the peninsula down later on. You can see now this is December 27th. I managed to actually put the lower deck on that wall, and um, one of the main spines connects across the two columns, giving it more rigidity. And it basically goes around, and that was beginning of the staging on the other side. Again, as I said, I didn't think about this well at the time. I thought that this height is good. It might have been good actually, but in hindsight, as they say, it's 2020. Uh, I would have probably opted for something lower, even though the ceiling is pretty low in this whole basement, and I'm pretty tall. You can't really put your decks too close to each other because you simply don't have enough space to work with it, aside from actually having a room for scenery and whatnot. And here I'm just measuring or actually seeing whether everything is in level, and so far so good. I'm actually starting on the longest wall um, bench work, and now we are moving into a 29th of December, and you can see I'm almost done with it. And technically I've stopped at that point on that wall as I wasn't sure how far it would go, or whether I would be building a helix there, or whether it would be some kind of a, I don't know, a turn back loop or whatnot. Really, I mean, there was a lot of thinking about a round helix and oval helix, and you know. So we reached the end of the month. You'll see another angle in the next shot, and you'll see also outlines of the peninsula. Basically, what you're seeing here is gone. This was 2017 December, and in future months, I've made more changes. Even though this benchwork has progressed, uh, changes have been made. And today, in 2021, when I'm recording this audio, this looks much, much different. But you'll see, I just want to take you through the uh, process that I've gone through, because someone might benefit from it, from the things that I've learned and mistakes I've made. And I'm going to talk about them in the next few videos. So for now, thanks for watching, and more to come.